How are you? My name is Alice Munyua. I am a nurse practitioner, and my biggest gift to this world is just going to the root cause of diseases and taking care of the diseases without medication. So today we're going to talk about asthma. And like I told you the last time, these diseases, they look different. The signs and symptoms are always different, and the names are different. But when you trace them, the root cause goes back to the brain. The brain is part of the body. The brain does not think. The brain does not work by itself. The brain is under the control of the mind. And the mind is not a physical thing. The mind is the first part of the soul. The soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. So, but the mind is also very, very, very complicated. The human mind is extremely complicated. Most of everything we see in this world, whatever drives your body, whatever is hidden in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind controls about 95% of everything you see in the body. Our actions, our words, our diseases, our success, everything is driven from the subconscious mind. Now, the mind is part of the soul. And I've told you before, or in certain videos, that total health is a balance between spirit, mind, and body. So let's talk about asthma and see where asthma comes from. Asthma is the narrowing of your bronchus, your airways, which causes wheezing, shortness of breath, and other symptoms. But what really causes it? We know asthma just by looking at it is part of the allergy diseases. The diseases that are caused by allergies. Let's say allergic rhinitis, atopic dermatitis, asthma, they all come from the allergy family. But what really causes allergies? If we look at the root cause, we find that most people who have asthma also have high histamine, and histamine is a compound that is secreted by the body. But the root cause of the secretion, where it's coming from, is coming from stress chemicals that your brain produces. And then you develop histamine. Histamine is part of the immune system, and it's usually developed as a good thing, but when there's too much of it, it can cause problems. So it's part of the immune system cascade. And what it does is when it senses like an enemy is invading your body, it rushes to the site of injury, and it tries to heal it. But now in asthma, you are producing too much of the histamine. And so when you encounter stuff like pollen or dust or animal data or some other allergic component, you start wheezing, you start having shortness of breath, your airway, the air passages are constricted. The medical world tells us that there is no cure for asthma. Most of the medication we give you is to control the symptoms and to manage the disease so you don't have long-term complications. So there is really no cure. But if you trace asthma back to this histamine, to the brain, you will find out that the brain is under the control of the mind. Some kind of trauma has happened to you. If you dig deep enough, if you dig deep down to the subconscious mind, deep down to the unconscious mind, you will find the cause. If you can't find the cause, maybe it's buried like way down deep, you can always do this with prayer and fasting and asking God to show you what the root cause is. And I believe if you did that, you will find that most people who have asthma also have anxiety disorder. We go back to the fear, and I've told you before in other videos that fear is a spirit. And it's a wicked, wicked spirit, an unclean spirit. You will find that the root cause most likely is based on fear. There's also another thing that I've looked at when I look at asthma. some of the drugs we use, there is the leukotriene modifiers, like single layer. When I look at those drugs, usually they have a warning that in some people, they might cause depression, they might cause suicidal behavior, they might cause anxiety. And so we usually caution people when they're taking those drugs, if they feel like that. Sometimes they might feel agitated, sometimes they might become aggressive, to notify their doctor so they can change the medication. But I just wanted to point that out as a clue to tell you that asthma, if those thoughts are coming in, those thoughts are not being caused by medication. Medication, as it is, will never cause your mind to change, because that's looking at the human being from upside down, so to speak. Because medication really never goes to your mind. And when you're dealing with depression, I've told you in different videos in the past that depression and spirituality are two sides of the same coin. So if you're having depression from taking medication, those depressive thoughts were already there. What has happened is you bury them way deep, such that when you take a medication that maybe numbs your brain, those thoughts are able to come through. They are not being filtered. They are not being buried anymore, so they come to the surface. If you're feeling agitated, that agitation was already there, and that's what you need to deal with in order to cure yourself from asthma. If you're having suicidal thoughts, medication will never, ever cause you to have suicidal thoughts. All those are spiritual in origin. All our good thoughts come from our spirit. All the bad thoughts come from a different spirit. It's not our spirit, but it's a wicked spirit. It's an unclean spirit, if you're really having suicidal thoughts. But we do have good and bad thoughts, but most people do not have suicidal thoughts. If you're having suicidal thoughts, that's coming from a different spirit, from a different dimension. And what you need to do is dissociate from that spirit. Just take a moment, because you're able to do this if you train your mind well. If you're quiet long enough, you can actually watch your thoughts. Just watch your thoughts and figure out where the suicidal thoughts are coming from. Deal with it, and you'll find that if you deal with it, clean out your soul, wash it out, you will find that your body will also be healthy. So I've told you before that total health is a balance between spirit, mind, and body. I still recommend this little book. It's called Think and Grow Healthier, a balance between spirit, mind, and body. And you'll find that you can cure any kind of inflammatory disease that you have, asthma being one of them. Thank you.